How's it going? Happy Synth Friends morning. Let me see. I've got my coffee. Oh yeah, I'm ready. Cheers.
Cheers. I don't have anything, but cheers anyway.
Getting everything set up here in the early morn, even though in our spaceship time is irrelevant. So it can be whatever you want it to be. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Killer B, how's it going?
Nice to see you, Killer B. What's up?
Early morning Synth Friends gang. Love it. Obama's Weed Man, work and lurk. Love it.
What a pleasant surprise.
Should be a good one. Good to see ya. I know it's been a couple weeks since we've streamed. As you can see, things are a little different in here. We're not ready for a full reveal, but we did want to make sure that we got to do this episode of Synth Friends because we've been working on coordinating with our friends Santa Dharma for a while now. And even though, you know, things aren't perfectly set up and we're not totally ready to share the studio part, we thought we should still do this because, you know, it's not easy to coordinate with people who are in a time zone that's 13 hours ahead.
And some of you may recognize the we're facing each other thing from our early Instagram days of...
Early Instagram?
Of posting...
Oh, you mean the way the music stuff is set up?
Yeah.
It creates suspense. That's awesome. Yeah, so when we first started doing improv, like Dallas improv stuff, this was before live streaming.
This is like 2017.
Yeah, we always faced each other back to back. And our early videos on Instagram were just, you know, us filming ourselves so that we could see what was even going on. And then we would post it. So that setup of us facing each other was something we were like, oh, we miss it.
We miss that, yeah. And it's nice to get it back. Like, we haven't really jammed that much yet, but it just feels good already, I would say.
But the, you know, doing a chat stream, we're still trying to configure how we can sit up here. So hopefully everything is working and feeling like a good vibe for everybody that's hanging. Poke Your Eyes Out Games, thanks for joining us. Good to see you again.
What's up, Poke Your Eyes Out?
It's sort of that early morning feeling of, am I even awake? Are my eyes even open? But we are going to bring our friends in. They're hanging out in the green room waiting for us. They are based in Tokyo. They're also a duo, so we're going to have a quad hang.
Oh, I never thought about that. Like, it's like band duo, meeting of the band duos.
Meeting of the band duos. This is going to be fun. We are doing well. I was telling, you know, Gus and our friends, like, I haven't woken up this early and had to, like, be this, like, ready for life in a while. And it's really nice. It's nice to be up with the sun. I saw the sunrise. It was great.
It's been a peaceful morning so far. Started out with a little Star Trek.
Oh my goodness. We're rewatching the original series. And we are almost done with the first season. And we're on the episode called Tomorrow is Yesterday, and it's like bringing back all this stuff from when we made our album Tomorrow Was Better Yesterday. And it's like the storyline is like so similar to what the storyline of our album is about, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so trippy.
It's so nuts. And like actual like present day Earth, well, present day for the time Earth is involved in this episode.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a very trippy space-time episode, I would say.
Speaking of time travel, let's bring our friends in from the future.
Literally.
Future. So like I said, they're 13 hours ahead of us, so it's evening time there. And we're just getting up, and they're going to get going to bed after this, so it's going to be really fun. So let me get them. I'm going to get back in here. And we'll connect all the dots. Okay, we're going to bring you on now, friends. Let's see. Let's make sure the transmission works. Hooray! Welcome in.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us from the future.
Yes.
We
I have to say the future isn't so good, but
13 hours ahead, it's not so good. Oh no. Everyone brace yourselves.
But I mean, just like 15 hours ago, so you'll be fine.
Okay, we'll prepare. We'll prepare.
I just want to say right off the bat, this is some of the best looking AV that we've had on Synth Friends. Like, you know, not a lot of glitchiness. Like the sound sounds really good so far.
how geographically far away you are and time-wise, usually that's, the hardest streams that we have is to get things smooth on the stream but you must have really good internet, and like obviously you're very tech savvy, so
yeah, I'm gonna
awesome.
Stop giving.
We're faking it well.
I'm gonna stop giving our international guests so much grace.
I know, right? I was like, oh, I guess it's just how it is, but you have proven us all wrong. You have outshined.
Sorry
all of
to
our
those
guests.
other international guests. We've set a precedent, and there's no going back.
No going back now.
Well, before we get too deep, I want to make sure we introduce you, because you're not just Santa Dharma, which is your band name. You're also humans with your own names. So how would you like to be addressed individually?
I'm Holly.
Tomo.
Hi, Holly and Tomo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
We love your California flag, obviously. And I think that's probably, if I remember back from when we first connected, that you guys also spent time in California?
I'm from California.
You're from
originally.
California. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, I know there's like a real connection there.
Oh, you're from California?
Yeah.
What part?
Sorry. I'm originally from the Bay Area, but then I kind of moved around a bit, and so I did spend. I remember you said you spent some time in Santa Cruz. I also spent a lot of time in Santa Cruz. So you're talking about Mystery Spot, or was that somebody else?
That was us. Absolutely. Also, welcome in, Bartek.
Okay.
Thank you for the sub. Good to see you flying through.
Bartek, what's up, man?
Another time traveling friend. Yes, so we used to live in LA, and that's where we formed the Galaxy Electric. And then we also have moved around a lot, but Gus did did a top secret project in the Bay Area for 6 months, and I couldn't stay with him. So we were like separated, not just like geographically. And so I would visit a lot, and we would take like little trips when he could have off time. And one of the
It wasn't military related.
It might as well have been. It was Space Command related.
Sure.
One of the things we did was we took like an extended trip in Santa Cruz specifically, and we did like wine tasting, and we went to the Mystery Spot, which I think I found because of there's that site. Oh, it's like for when you travel and you want to do weird stuff. I think it's called like Atlas Obscura. I'm gonna try to look it up.
I do not know this reference, so you're on your own there.
Yeah, because I was like looking for stuff for us to do, and I didn't want it to just be like kid friendly or like bars.
Right. Yeah, you definitely found.
I was like,
the
I want to
mystery
find
spot.
ghosts or something.
And
yeah, Atlas Obscura, for anybody who's curious, is a great site. I'm sure everybody in our chat is way cooler than me, so they probably already know that, but it has like, you put in your destination and it'll tell you all the like weird or spooky things you can visit in that location.
That's cool. I didn't know about that. I'll definitely try that next time. It'd be interesting to see what they have in Japan, if anything. I'm sure there's some weird stuff we don't even know about, even in our neighborhood,
Oh, exactly.
Could be.
So that's how we found the Mystery Spot, and I was really surprised when we have like the magnet on our fridge, and I was like, oh, I wonder if anybody's been there, and most people said they had never heard of it, and I was like, oh, this is like, major paranormal weirdness that everyone needs to know about. So I assume you've been or know about it.
I've been. Yeah, I don't think Tomo's ever been.
Okay.
Yeah, but I used to live in Santa Cruz. I mean, it's just kind of I feel like Santa Cruz is an extended mystery spot. I don't know.
Yes.
And again, this is like,
It
I haven't been there in years, but it's just, there's just so many experiences I had in Santa Cruz that were just very surreal, and like, where you're just kind of like, am I dreaming? And the nature is just so beautiful, and you have things like banana slugs. You're like, you're not real, I mean, if somebody made up, if somebody just said, oh, banana slug, you'd be like, that's made up, if you've never seen one. So yeah, it's just kind of that mystery spot in general, and so it feels like the perfect place to have it, and it's the perfect place to kind of like have that suspension. What do you call it? The suspension of disbelief or something, and you're just like kind of take it all in. And okay, well, maybe this place is kind of special or mysterious, it's just just one of those kinds of places.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I feel that way too. I did it. I knew I was gonna knock something over. I'm still getting used to this spot, but speaking of mystery spots, but it's like a gravitational anomaly, and so you would imagine that would like extend to, you know, not just that spot, but you would feel it kind of in the whole area, and that's kind of why it's like one of my favorite places on the planet so far that I've spent time in, because it's kind of unexplainable. Like, you have to experience it for yourself, but it's like a tangible feeling of mystery, like just being there. And I feel like it attracts people who are like for that and want more of it. So I feel like that
totally
like creates more of it somehow.
Yeah, there's a lot of old hippies there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's really cool that you have that connection as well. So I feel like there's a lot of like unspoken just like parallelisms between us without really, like I said, we've never spoken before face to face. This is our first meeting. We love like a blind synth friends hang.
Blind date.
But it feels like we've like met in another life or something. Maybe we met at the mystery spot in a parallel dimension.
For sure. It would be funny, like, if somehow we crossed paths, you know, years ago, we never realized it.
That comes up a lot.
I would believe it.
On these chats, we'll find out we were like at the same
open
event.
to it.
And we didn't know each other. It's so spooky, but we, you know, obviously have a lot of similar interests. So why don't you tell us a little bit, give us a little background. We love to do a little biography of just kind of how you came to be the project that you are, how you met, how you ended up, you know, kind of being in Tokyo and everything like that.
Well, Tomo, you're from around here.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from
Saitama.
Near Tokyo.
Near Tokyo.
One stop. One next to prefecture.
One stop is like it sounds like it's really close, but it's actually like a 2-hour train ride or something to where he's from. So he's kind of from a small town, but he's been living in Tokyo for a long time. And you used to play bass, right, when you were in high school, and then you sort of like kept joining a lot of bands. And
wow, I played the bigger one.
Upright, yeah. I started on that as well. I actually started on that in middle school and then graduated to the electric bass. So same.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah. So he loves bass, like his main instrument. So he'd been in a lot of musical projects. I grew up singing, but I didn't like, you know, not like professionally or seriously, but I just really loved singing, and I would, you know, do talent shows and do all this kind of stuff. And then I don't know, I did musical theater, whatever. And then I think I got to an age where I just sort of got really fed up with it and kind of disenchanted with it, and a lot of the competition and rivalry and things and so I gave up like really any kind of music or any kind of singing or anything for probably about 10 years. And then somehow I ended up in Japan, long story short, and I just was like at some junk shop, and I was like, oh, this is a really cool toy keyboard. And I just kind of picked it up and started making songs with it. It was like, it's not even a Casio. Like, it's just one of those like really junk keyboards. Like, I don't even think it could play more than one note at a time, you know? So, and it was like a little bit out of tune, but there's no way to tune it. And it was just like really bizarre. And so I just like would just play these open mics and things. And I just was doing it like kind of like to make fun of myself, and I wasn't taking it seriously. And I think that was kind of how I got like back into music again. And all of this was kind of like happening at the same time that I don't know if you even know who this is, but like, do you know who Adam Lambert is by chance? He's like, he was
American Idol.
Yes. I used to do duets and things with him, like way back in the day. We used to, you know, do musical theater duets. Like, there's probably some VHS in my parents' house of like us singing, like, what is that song? Summer Loving or something. Like, yes, like we used to like duet. We had the same voice teacher. We did like musical theater together. I was Wendy, he was Peter Pan. One time I remember like it was just like a very like, but I mean, we weren't besties or anything, but we just did that together. And then right at the time he was on American Idol, like I was moving to Japan, and it just felt like this moment like, okay, well maybe I should like get back into music again, like a little bit. And I think that was just kind of this seed, you know? So then I'm playing around with my weird toys and doing all this weird stuff, like zero computers, just kind of playing around. And somewhere along the way, I started doing these shows, I started playing, and then I met Tomo, right? But there's a lot of things in between here. But yeah, I met Tomo, and we met in a bar actually. And, you know, at that time I was kind of like pissed off at men in general, if I'm really being honest. Like I'd had like a couple of really bad dating situations. And so the moment a guy comes up to me at a bar, I'm just like, oh, fuck off. I'm sorry, F off, you know, whatever.
No, feel free.
Feel free.
And,
let it fly.
You know, I was just kind of like, you know, whatever. But then he came in and he started talking to me about like Pavement and like all these bands that I loved. And I was like, oh, cool. Like you know, we can hang out. Let's hang out. And so we started like jamming together and going to shows together and everything. And then it developed into a romance kind of organically, but it was like from the beginning, it was completely not like that at all. It was just, hey, let's jam together. Hey, let's go to shows together. And then, you know, now we're married and now we do music together many, many years later. We've like been around the world. We lived in Africa together. We lived in Colombia together.
2 cats.
Yeah, we have 2 cats now. So, you know,
that's a big
like,
deal.
Yeah, it's been like, I mean, this is like 10 years, you know, spanning like 10 years, you know, or more. So it's like kind of a long story, but yeah, we basically been doing music together. And, you know, like I say, I kind of brought in this, like, I was playing with toys, you know, and I didn't even like loop. I didn't have any vocal effectors. Like it was very, very, very lo-fi. I mean, it was even more than today. And I was just kind of doing that thing. And so he was kind of the guy who kind of encouraged me to get a bit more into looping and into like, you know, more like actual synthesizers instead of toys, you know? And so he kind of got me into Casio. That was like the you know, going in the baby pool or something, like it's cool, it's really tiny, it's a toy still, it's cool. And then I just like kept kind of getting more into bigger and bigger ones. But basically our rule, like we don't like to have really big synthesizers, we like small keyboards. What's our protocol? We have a rule.
We have 3 criteria.
Yeah.
So one is has a get one for that difference.
Oh, we're ready for the synth reveal. It's time.
I almost can't stand letting the stream go on any longer though without you freaking out about your similarities with Holly.
Oh, I know. It was like literally everything you said. I was like, yep.
Y'all are the same person.
Musical
like,
theater to Casio pipeline. Yep.
And it seems like Tomo and I are the same. So wow, this is just very
not to be weird, not to be psycho about it, but.
Hey, who said anything about psycho?
We've clearly got a parallel dimension going on.
No, it's for real. That's so awesome. So he wanted to show you the criteria. So it needs to have an internal speaker because we like playing out in nature. We like jamming. We like this kind of thing. And we like that element. So almost always every synthesizer keyboard we buy, there's exceptions, but we try to always have ones that we can have batteries in some way, can be battery powered in some way, and can have a speaker in some way.
Is that the MT35?
This is
MT40.
MT40, okay.
Yeah.
Reggae and dub and Adi reggae people.
It has that beat, right? Yeah, we actually had one of those briefly.
Very briefly.
Yeah, I've owned one of those before.
It's
super cool.
It's a really, really cool one. So this one is like, so a speaker, battery. What else? What's
mini
the other?
Keyboard.
Oh yeah, mini, smaller. We don't like the really, really big ones.
Mini-size keyboard.
And so we have like a ridiculous amount of instruments in our house that fit this criteria. So yeah, that's kind of like our musical project. We do a lot of playing with kind of like smaller synthesizers. Tomo has recently been getting a little bit into modular. But then also like what do you play, Tomo? Because like I know this is a synth show, but also we kind of combine a lot of things in our music. Like Tomo, what do you play?
With modular?
And in general, what do you play?
In general, I played mainly electric ukulele for the show, and then adding a bunch of pedals. And then sometimes when we play in a bigger venue, I play the electric bass, which is my favorite instruments. I like 4-string instruments. 4 is good number. 6 is too complicated.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. I like these criteria.
It's kind of funny that Tomo says that, because isn't 4 kind of an unlucky number in Japan?
Yes,
That's
4 means dead.
Oh, okay.
But Tomo's kind of like
That's
dark,
badass then.
mysterious.
Yeah, embracing it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, like, you have this criteria, because we always talk about limitations, because you can just like overwhelm yourself with music making.
Oh, totally.
But it was funny because as you were describing your criteria, I was like, I bet you still have a million things though, because that criteria really opens you up to a lot of fun stuff that's kind of like, oh, that's small, we can get that too. Oh, that we can get that too.
It kind of invites like more of that like eclectic sort of like I mean, there's just if you go into our house, there's these little Easter eggs, little hunt, oh yeah, there's what's this,
That is so fun. Okay, so what would be kind of, do you have like a criteria on the limitations you set when you go play out, like how much stuff you're gonna bring?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when so there's this sort of, I think for all of us, there's this pre-pandemic and post-pandemic where we're sort of like figuring out, because there were probably, I would say, like 2 or 3 years in there where we weren't playing gigs hardly at all, or if we were, it was like, really small, or, it was like in a really specific setting. So it wasn't really like a normal gig, driving our car, where it was like we used to often take the train, and there's just like a lot of like things that changed. But it's always been this issue for us. I don't know if issue is the right word, but how much do you bring and what do you bring, and it's always like this cut at the end, who makes the final cut, because if you bring too much stuff, it's sort of like too much to set up and take down. You don't want to be like those annoying people. We're always those annoying people, but we don't want to be like even more annoying than we normally are. So we always try to like kind of limit things a bit, and not have too much stuff. And we're always kind of computer free when we play live. So that's kind of like one of our, limitations. And that's kind of like, we started an event in Tokyo. This is going to be the 3rd one we'll have in the fall, and it's called Bedroom Psychedelia. And I don't know if anyone's interested in the chat to ask any questions about organizing gigs in Japan or whatever, but feel free and we'll see what we can answer,
Yeah, the chat will go crazy.
I know that was one of our early conversations on Instagram. We had expressed interest in, maybe touring there someday, and that we started chatting about that.
Come here. We'll help you out for sure. We've definitely helped other artists organize gigs. I mean, we're not like big organizers, so as long as your expectations are like a cool gig, a cool venue, cool people, not a lot of money, if you're okay with that, then we're absolutely cool to organize with people, as long as obviously we have similar tastes. But if it was like depending on the band, it can be harder. If it's drums, it's usually harder in bass and things like that, just because a lot of like indie music venues in Japan and in Tokyo that can be rented or used sort of cost effectively tend to have a lot of rules, like no bass or no drums or something like that. But yeah, we can definitely, help people organize something, but specifically an event that we're organizing and we're hoping to do like maybe 3 or 4 times a year is called Bedroom Psychedelia. And basically the whole concept is really any kind of music, as long as it's somewhat within a realm of, let's say, a little bit experimental and a little bit electronic, but doesn't use any kind of computer. So that's kind of the only, like the line that we draw.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's been cool because the first, we've only been 2, but the first 2 times, it's like the music was so different, even though it's, kind of a big limitation, I think, for a lot of electronic artists to not have a computer or not use a computer, but everyone's set and everyone's music was so different. So if anybody is like interested in coming to Japan and you feel like your music would fit in that category in any way, feel free, especially to reach out. We're really active on Instagram. So yeah, that's a good place to reach out to us for sure.
This is a great time to
drop a little.
I'm like, where's all my stuff still?
Drop a little guesty.
Drop a guest. Okay. Speaking of your Instagram,
so
these
we
are
got
all
those
the
links coming at you.
So Instagram's on that list. So everybody who wants to follow, connect, send nice messages. That's the
wow, that's an ambitious request. Someone said it would be cool to see all 4 of us doing a jam on stream right now, like or something
on the screen. All 4 people on the screen do a jam.
I don't know if the latency is quite
Japan,
that good, but
you mean in Japan though? You mean like the 4
No, I
of
think
us...
they mean like on screen here, like
Connecticut. Let us know what you mean. But the Tangerine Craftwork spacecraft, I like that. And Bardik, our friend from the Golden Shrimp Guild, is saying there should be a Golden Shrimp Guild showcase in Japan. So I don't know if you know about our Twitch community that we're part of. It's called the Golden Shrimp Guild.
That would be sick, Bardik.
It's basically a group of anybody who's DAWless. I don't know that we... nobody's like policing it or anything, but that's
people use computers.
That's sort of the heart of it. Is just it's not so much you have to have a modular synthesizer as much as it is you're using hardware, or just like experimental music, and
cool.
So that's like I think it's really just people on Twitch, which surprisingly is like way more people than I thought, but it's very global. So we went to Berlin this year for the first time, and there was like an experience there with everybody that we got to have to meet in person. And we're going
We got NopCon coming up.
We're going to be going to Chicago in September to do like a similar meetup with everyone. So I think Japan should be next.
Yeah, come on over to Tokyo.
Yeah.
So we were actually, again, the sort of like pre-post, I don't know, whatever, pandemic, COVID or whatever. It's like, we were doing actually, so we used to live in a house in Koenji, which is a little bit, let's say 20 minutes from where we live now or something like that. And it was this old 60s house, this old Japanese house. Had terrible insulation, but it was absolutely adorable, like sakura branches in the ceiling and, all the tatami floors and everything. But we had this neighbor from hell, and she like would not let us do even like the normal things. Like she called the police on me for watching like a yoga video or something. And
Dang. That's not fun.
Hardcore.
Next to somebody like that. And so it was like a year or something, and we just went, you know what, like let's just buy a house and let's make a music studio, because it was like we just got so tired of like dealing with neighbors and dealing with people being like, well, actually you're not doing anything wrong, but we can't do anything about it. It was like this neighbor was just going to bully us for the rest of our lives, so what are we going to do? And so we just went, okay, let's buy a house. And so we really did not even know if we could do it, but we ended up finding a way to do it. And we got this secondhand house, and we had a music studio built, had to sacrifice our biggest bedroom, in our closet space, but we made like a nice soundproof studio. So now we can, play music whenever. We've got a small drum set, we can do whatever, we can play bass, whatever. So we were doing concerts here for about a year before, the pandemic. We were inviting bands, we had some people come, but we haven't really started things again, for obvious reasons. Everything's been a bit like, what's safe and, kind of like, not wanting to create an unsafe environment or anything like that. But yeah, maybe we'll do it again one of these days, and that would be really cool. We can also invite people, we're just being cautious, taking it slow,
Yeah. It's sort of like the momentum of things like that really died out to the point where it's like, well, when do you feel like it's right? So how do we know to get that going again? It's I'm seeing things like start and stop right now.
Yeah.
Kinetic says latency is fun. It's like pre-delay.
Oh yeah,
you're right. Like, what the heck am I talking about? Like, that would be awesome. Like, we could do an ambient jam. Like, it would be no problem.
Absolutely,
like, let's go for it. It would just be like everything's like running through a space delay or something. Like a cosmic
space music,
space-time, continuum delay.
But I do agree that a in-person jam would also be completely
ideal.
epic.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
would
I'm
be
never
awesome.
gonna stop talking about Super Booth Bardic. That's for sure.
About what? Sorry.
So Super Booth in Berlin,
Oh yeah,
where
yeah.
we went this year. I drop it in almost every stream.
It's like
you know how
one
we
of the
went to
only
Super
things
Booth?
we've done in the last 6 months.
It was
so-
again sort of our like, I think it's safe to go do a thing. Let's go try, and it worked out. So
and it
that
was
felt
so
good.
much fun.
I'm just trying to see if there was anything else. Call it the
was-
non-synced lag jam. Okay. I love these. Everyone's very pro us jamming.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for saying anything about latency.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So
Yeah, we
someone
just
had
got back from Fuji Rock, so we're a bit tired still. We're a bit still recovering because it's a great festival, but it's like very wild, like it's very in nature, and the temperatures get, super hot, super cold. There's rain. Usually this year there was almost no rain, so then it was just super hot the whole time.
wow.
Just baking in the sun, but it was absolutely beautiful, like all these trees and, lots of great performances and everything. We're still kind of recovering a bit from it.
Oh yeah, it's like an emotional recovery too.
Yeah.
So you get like such a
We
high
were
from-
camping.
Yes, I was
We
gonna
were
say.
camping, and like not only were we camping, it's like, we love camping, but Fuji Rock camping is kind of next level because it's actually like a ski resort that they just kind of like make into a campsite,
Whoa.
for a couple of festivals and raves. And so, like our tent was literally up like 4 little mini ski slopes. So we're like had to like go up, and that was like, like to get to like the toilets or like any kind of water or anything. And then like we were there, and like we were walking up to our tent at like 4 a.m. because it's an all-night party. I mean, there's like electronic music and stuff going on all night, and we're walking up and we're like, wow, we'd heard about a bear attack happening recently, and we thought,
Oh.
this feels like a little bit unsafe, it's like it's really dark here and everything. Anyway, we had our flashlight and we go up and we're like, a bear, like we kind of felt like a bear was going to jump out at any moment. We go in our tent, we crash out for like 4 hours, wake up because, it's hot as whatever. And we wake up, open our tent flap. There's a sign right outside of our tent that says, watch out for bears. And we're like, oh no. And so we don't know what happened, but I think that there's a story there.
Whoa. So you just narrowly escaped the bear.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Man.
That
And-
would
I don't know.
scare
And
me.
you
That would
didn't-
get in my head.
You didn't see the sign initially, you only saw it later.
No, it was definitely put after.
After.
It was definitely
Once they found
there
out.
after.
Oh no.
So I think something happened that night. Like I think somebody
Oh, I understand now,
walking
yeah.
back. So like the bears there, the problem is like they kind of have like a taste for like human treats, like
Oh
human
yeah,
munchies.
right, yeah.
Apparently there was like a couple years ago, there was some lady who was camping, not exactly in that area, but kind of close to there. And some bear just like came and like tore open her tent and stole all of her food, dragged her for like 15, 20 meters and stuff like that. So anyway, this was like really fun to wake up to like this bear sign right outside our tent. And we're like, I'm glad that didn't happen to us. So.
Yeah, super glad. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
But yeah, it was super fun. It was a great festival. Like we saw Yola Tango. That was amazing.
Oh.
Wow.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's really
Anyway, lots of
cool.
great people.
On the way go home, we saw bear actually.
She saw a bear.
And you
right?
did
Like,
see one. Oh wow.
It was yeah.
It's small one.
When we were
Oh,
we
it was
were
small. It
riding-
was like a baby.
I think it was a baby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny just because you have the California bear.
I know.
behind
Like
you.
right behind you. Yeah.
I know.
Y'all
You're
are like
conjuring the bears.
y'all are like the bear people now. Like.
Bear people.
That's amazing. So, okay, so we were talking a little bit about how you're putting on events, and someone was asking about well, I mean, you don't have to answer this, but they were curious about like what it costs to put a gig on, and you had mentioned something about, you're renting a space and everything like that. So is it that you have spaces that you can rent, or are they already kind of set up as venues? Do you have to like, put up a PA and everything?
For sure. So it really depends on the venue. I don't know, Tomo may also have more knowledge about this than me, but my experience has been that the more like you want, I would say, real sound equipment, the more money you're going to have to pay, you know, and the more things you need and that kind of thing. But there are like cheap ways to do it. You know, there are cheap ways to do it if you know people here and if you're not trying to make a big amount of money. So most of like the live houses, like the real live houses, yes, you're going to have to pay usually. And then it's kind of like you pay and then you just hope you can sell enough tickets to make the money back.
Okay.
The show,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
But like if you're doing it more kind of indie and you know people here like us, a lot of times people will you know, be able to negotiate with you more and you may make a small profit or break even. It just really depends on your music and the night and the day of the week and how much you promote and you know, that kind of thing. So I can't say like it costs this much. I mean, it could cost money depending on what you need. It could also be free, or it could also be that you make some profit, especially if you bring merchandise and you sell stuff and you know, there's ways to do it. There is a lot of competition though in Tokyo. So, you know, every night of the week there's music events going on. And so that's why we've been really trying to create events that are very specific and really try to create a community of people who are interested in that kind of music and maybe even in a neighborhood. So we're currently doing these shows at Sangenjaya in Space Orbit, a really nice club. And it's kind of like being in someone's living room. Like it's very chill. You take your shoes off to go in. It's lots of like pillows and bean bags and chill lighting. You know? So it's, and then we also bring a lot of lights and things and like, you know, our little small Casio TV we have and all of this kind of random stuff to kind of, you know, make the environment as
create
well.
An atmosphere,
yeah. And so it's like we want to create that kind of like event where people kind of know what to expect and they, you know, they come back and we can make a community. And it's like fun that the first time some of the people in the audience said, I want to play next time. And I'm like, cool. All right, play next time. You know, so it's like kind of that, you know,
no boundary between the artist and audience.
Yeah, exactly. And we try to have it so that everyone's gear is set up the whole gig. So it's like, you know, it's kind of a weird little space, but we kind of like wrap the stage around and this one part becomes the stage, this other part becomes the stage. And then we got the DJ tables, whatever. So it's like people can kind of see like a little synth museum or something like that, you know.
That's really cool. Yeah, it sounds like a dream, someone said. Definitely. Yeah, that's a really cool vibe. I can definitely see how it would, you know, it can build on itself and like create like a community around it and something that people would like very easily tell other people about and like want to go to again.
I can't help but think that it sounds exactly like what we were describing last night about like our ideal.
Well, sorry. Like, take me back to what that was about.
Oh, we were talking about how, like, you know, when we used to live in LA, for example, there was a much more, like, community, like, scene around playing gigs, and how that would sort of be, like, our ideal setup would be something that feels, you know, very...
more like community rather than
community
like, oh, we're up on a stage and we're performing for you like a rock band.
Yeah, because, like, that, you know, unless you're... you know, like this huge legacy act or something. Yeah. Like, I just feel like that vibe is not super conducive to, you know, a good feeling environment to listen and interact in. You know what I mean?
We're also really used to streaming, which you get like immediate interaction and feedback with everyone. And someone already asked if you guys stream on Twitch because they obviously want to rope you in to our Dallas community.
We set up a channel on Twitch a few years back and then never did anything with it, but maybe we'll try to start. We were doing more streaming on YouTube. So we're as you two know, because we were asking you if you wanted to be on the next episode. Yeah. So we have kind of a show we've been working on, but it's still like you two are far more organized than us. We do it very kind of sporadically. And again, this is something, if anybody's interested, feel free to reach out to us. But we kind of have this idea, you know, again, during the pandemic, like, what do? We don't have gigs. We want to kind of help create this community, you know, and feel like there's something going on. And we didn't want it to always just be kind of one-sided, like we're just, hey, here's our song that we made up in quarantine. But we wanted to see what other people were doing, and we wanted to create relationships and create bonds and things like that. And that was always what the parties were about too, you know, like somebody comes and sees a gig at our place and then they go to their next show, and you know, that kind of thing, you know, that kind of community. So anyway, we decided to try to do something that is kind of in the essence of like retro MTV or something, where you'd have the VJs and they'd introduce the different music videos. But we thought, especially because it's during the pandemic and we don't see a lot of like live performances, we thought it would be fun to have people kind of show what they're up to at home, you know, in the studio, or, you know, just things like, say, bedroom psychedelia, you know, kind of that, what are you working on at home? It doesn't have to be polished, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just sharing it and, you know, having people perform. And so we've done, this is going to be, I think, our 5th episode that's coming up, or 5th or 6th, I can't remember.
Oh, cool.
So we've been doing it for a little over a year. So yeah, that's a good place to check out, you know, music that we're up to, and also what other people are up to in the Tokyo community and beyond. Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, I think someone said they already subbed you on YouTube and they're checking it out because we put the links in the chat. So
cool.
Definitely, I would say Instagram and YouTube are the good ones to follow.
I would be interested in participating in that. I'll speak for myself
we
here.
Already agreed to do
But yeah,
it.
like I'm super stoked about it.
We already said we would. So I'm glad you're
Yeah.
stoked.
Yeah. And also, it's going to be, we finally set the date. So it's been a bit like pushing the date back because well, Tomo has kind of like a work trip that he's been, you know, not able to schedule yet for a number of factors. And so it's been like, okay, we'll do it after your work trip, but then that work trip keeps getting postponed. But we set a date, so it's September 29th. So if anybody wants to, you know, make a alert or something, but it will probably be for a lot of you September 28th, or no, I don't know. Yeah, because we'll be, again, time traveling. But of course, it's there for you later if you want to see it, you know.
So it's live streamed and then it will be up.
It's live streamed, okay. And then we leave it there for everyone. And so yeah, it's been such a cool experience, because it's given us this opportunity to meet other people and other artists that are doing really interesting things. And I think it's made us a bit more brave, because I think sometimes collaborating can feel really scary, especially in the kind of like Instagram and Facebook and whatever world. And you just feel like you're just like almost like a robot on the other side of this chat or something. So it's been cool to kind of be able to reach out to other people and kind of like, you know, instead of just, hey, me, it's more like, hey, what are you up to? And it kind of creates like more personal relationships instead of just like, you know, I don't know, feeling like a commercial or something, you know. So I think it's created a lot of opportunities for us to get to know other people. And that's been really nice, since we haven't had as much social interaction, you know, over the last couple of years. Probably a lot of us haven't, you know.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because that's something I would definitely encourage anybody who's watching, that if you have an idea for something, even if you feel like, oh, well, this isn't going to be like the next big hit thing, you know, it's the value of it is the way you get to connect with people on like an idea about sharing things together and talking or making music together or sharing their music. The value of that is like so beyond anything that you could monetize or even like
put a price on,
really wrap your head around, because it's like community building is like a self-perpetuating sort of value experience.
Absolutely.
And especially for people like us, or, you know, anybody who's like more on the internet, more like incognito and like doesn't want to promote themselves or feels like shy or introverted or anything, to be able to connect with people, sending messages and stuff about something that you want them to participate in, like it changes the energy of your conversation so much. Like I can't think of like what I would even be like talking to people about besides like looks cool, you know, like all the like little comments that you leave to try to like that never leads to any like real friendship or relationship or community. So like anybody out there who's watching, like definitely I highly recommend like what Holly was saying, that it gives you like this, it just gives you this playground to connect with people. So even if you feel like you're not going to be able to do a podcast every week or your thing isn't going to be that polished, it's just like do it anyway. Because you'll make friends.
The amount of times I sit there and try to think of a better way to say looks cool.
Yeah. I'm like, love it. Looks cool. Fire.
Exactly.
Clap emoji. Because you're like, you want to say something, and it's not even that it's coming from an inauthentic place. That's like the saddest part. Yeah. It's like if it was just like I'm a robot and I don't care, but actually I do care. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to say that they don't know that you know that they actually know I care. You know. So yeah, it's really nice to be able to say, hey, I like your work. Do you want to participate in this project? That's a really cool thing to be able to do. For sure.
And to not have it be like, be on my song or let's make a song together, like that is like so much pressure, and it's not like this long-term thing where you have to be in relationship with someone and you don't know how that's going to go yet. Like to just be able to have like, hey, let's meet up for coffee is kind of how we think of this. I know this is a very meta conversation to be having about what we're doing, but it's like, hey, let's just meet, let's just be friends, let's just, you know, share in some commonalities that we have that go beyond just the thing you see us posting on Instagram. Like if we connect on that, there's probably a lot of other stuff that we connect on. We always find that.
Totally agree. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody's interested in BTV, like definitely reach out. And sorry, I'm just looking at my notebook because I was like, I feel like there was something I wanted to say while I was here, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know.
Just
Probably
in
nothing.
case you're not seeing this chat, our friend Connecticut in the chat is listening to your songs on YouTube and says you have great songwriting skills and a good sound. So
ooh, nice.
Thank you.
I always want you to, you know, feel the love that's coming at you from the chat.
Thank you. Feel that love.
A lot of subs on YouTube, so you might see that later.
Thank you so much, everyone. We really, really appreciate you. And just like kind of, I guess this is a little bit, you know, a little bit related to what we were talking about earlier was, so we, when we made our album a couple years back, we wanted to, you know, reach out to an artist that we really liked their work and we thought they were doing something really interesting and really, you know, creative. And so we found this artist sort of through Instagram, and her name is Glenda Torralo, and she's, I think, originally from Colombia, but she now lives in Mexico. And she is, she's like this very surreal, very cool artist. And she did our album artwork for our, you know, if you look at our album on Bandcamp or Spotify or whatever, and it's just called SYNTH Dharma. So it's pretty easy to find. But she, unfortunately, she's been suffering from cancer for, I don't know exactly how long, and, you know, has been going through some treatments, and it's been very hard for her to do whatever. And, I mean, anything really, any kind of art or any kind of career or anything right now. And so she asked us, and she asked many of her musician friends to, you know, sort of make some songs and make a compilation. And one of the artists that was putting it together is Meridian Brothers, which I don't know if you're familiar with their work, but they're so cool. So if anybody's watching and you love like experimental cumbia or experimental sort of Latin American music, a lot of different genres, it's so cool. And
they have nice synth sound too.
A lot of really cool synth sounds. It's just amazing. So anyway, yeah, so they put together the compilation, and it's out now if anybody wants to see it. And the artist lineup is just so cool. It's like so eclectic and so many interesting artists, but predominantly a lot of experimental Latin American artists. And then we have a couple of songs on there as well. So if you go to Meridian Brothers Bandcamp, it's on there. So if you want to help out someone who's kind of having a tough time right now with her treatment and life in general, and also listen to some really cool Latin American music, or you can just stream it if you don't have the money right now. I think it's streamable as well. Yeah.
I was gonna see if I can grab that link.
Thanks for sharing that. That's cool. And I mean, a little bit
Yeah,
sad story, but
we can share the URL. It's a sad story, but she's very positive about it, and her artwork is really, really beautiful. I think Toma was gonna share.
Oh, I think I found it.
Oh, did you find it? Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, no, maybe no.
Don't let me to.
Sorry, we're like not logged into Twitch. We can see the chat, but
it's all good. I got it. You can also drop it in the Zoom chat.
Yeah.
But I think I grabbed it. It's the Ayuda help.
Yeah. Ayuda, yeah. Exactly.
Cool.
So yeah, if anybody's interested, no pressure, just putting it out there, you know.
Yeah, that's you know, another layer to what we were talking about is having, maybe you don't have like a show that you're inviting people to, but anything you're working on, any ways that you can include other people across disciplines of your art, whether it's making a video or doing the artwork or, you know, I don't know, mastering it or whatever aspect of it, that is such like a deep, rich experience to have, because that person's working in their element and you're working in yours and like creating something together.
It's
remix,
really cool.
And then, you know, relationships develop.
I feel like, totally. And I feel like the cover art is so essential to an album. Like, I feel like it wouldn't be the same album if you didn't have her artwork. So it really meant like something to me to be able to give something back other than just monetary wise, but actually to share something. But it was also just, I don't know, it always feels really cool collaborating with artists in other countries. Like, even if it's just collaborating, like just being on the same compilation or something, there's some feeling of unity or something somehow. I don't know. It just kind of like, it was really cool. And the thing is we're huge fans of Meridian Brothers. So it was really cool to be like, oh wow, you're on this compilation with Meridian Brothers. You know, it's like,
some guys play on his radio program last week, and he said they might be related to the Meridian Brothers. Yeah.
They're super cool. But you can make that false assumption. We'll absolutely take it. Yeah. But it was cool.
So I put that link in the chat for everybody so that you can check that out. Yes, awesome. lots of music to check out after this chat, everybody, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you all want to check out like a couple synthesizers?
Yeah, let's do more synths.
That's actually exactly what I was thinking about.
I was gonna say I also want to hear about Tomo's journey with modular as well.
Yeah, we've got like some different stuff. I don't know. Maybe we'll just start grabbing some things. We already talked about this one. Maybe enough. I don't know if anybody had questions about it.
Any synth questions? Now is your time.
Yeah. So, and some of these have batteries and some don't. So if you really want to hear something, let us know and we'll try to scrunch the AC or the batteries or something. I don't know if you all are familiar with this one, the PT30. This one is one of my favorites. As you can see, it's very tiny and very light and portable and everything. And it has
mini keyboard.
Yeah, very mini keyboard.
That's the
so I love these so much. I have 2 of these just in case.
Just in case. I love it.
This is from like 1980 something.
Yeah.
I don't remember, 1981 or something. It's pretty old, and it's like it's very limited in terms of everything, but especially like the sounds. You know, I think there's only like 6 or 7 presets, but it's kind of fun because you can actually like program it to memory play, and then it has like the auto chords, kind of like omnichords and things like that.
It has a weird chord sequencer.
That's cool.
May I request a little demo just because it has a built-in speaker? Can we get like a beat?
We need
maybe no batteries.
That's what she said. There might not be batteries.
She adapted you. Is it okay? Nobody.
It's okay though. Like I was just
no pressure.
I was being a little.
No, he'll find it.
Greedy
I think
to ask.
And then this is like everyone's probably familiar with SK1, right?
Oh yeah,
this one,
absolutely.
This one, the sampling keyboard.
Oh, and that one's pink. Did it come pink?
This one is pink, and
I love that.
I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but it's in Japanese. So
yeah,
you can see the Japanese lettering. So it's kind of a rare one. So this one is pretty fun. I've had this one for I've had this one for ages, you know. I mean, these sampling keyboards, they're just really, really fun to play around with. I don't know if anyone else out there loves sampling keyboards, but I'm a big fan, especially because I'm a singer. So it's like kind of fun to be able to play around with like sort of this in between space of like playing around with your voice and also playing around with it on a synthesizer. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Absolutely.
yeah, anyway.
Definitely does, yeah. This is so fun.
I have like tons of these. So I won't show you all of them, but I just thought maybe some people would be interested in some of these.
Oh, we're interested.
This is the SK5, is that right? Yeah,
SK5,
yeah. This one has like the...
It's got the pads.
Oh, it's working.
I think the SK5 was the first one that I ever had experience with. My buddy down the block had one. And we used to sample stuff into it and just like it was all for comedy. Yeah, we would just like do the silliest crap and like sample it into the keyboard and like hear it back and be like, oh, like. So
endless fun back before the internet.
This one is used in Colombia, and they call it music genre called champeta. Champeta. They're playing
picotero.
Picotero, yeah, it's called picotero. Yeah.
Champeta and picotero, I think both of them.
Basically, they play digital drum machine by hand, and they're making groove.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
It's really, really cool. So yeah, that was like one reason why, because when we're, obviously like we lived in Tanzania, we lived in Colombia, we also lived in Okinawa for a short time, just a few months, and it was like really very influential to hear some of those sounds, and to like, I think the more you get exposed to different kinds of music, whether it's like in a taxi, like our drivers just be like, what is this? This is amazing. And they'd be like, I don't know. It's just some MP3 drive I have. And like, you try to Shazam it and you couldn't Shazam it because it wasn't in anything. So anyway, like we just had all of these inspirations and all this music. So like one of the things that we got into was champeta. So we're like, we have to own an SK5. We need one. It's really cool. So yeah, this is like,
yeah, I want to look more into that genre. I didn't know there was a genre based around SK5 beats. That's really cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. They have really huge sound system like reggae and outside. And they're playing the kind of what the music is okay.
Kind of thing.
Oh, I think you can do like that. Do you think the Zoom is noise suppressing?
Maybe.
Because we don't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear anything? It may very well be on our side, the audio. Yeah. Can you hear anything?
I'm trying to look for automatically adjust noise suppression. Let me do this. Here we go. Is that going to automatically change it?
Then maybe turn the volume up a little bit.
Here? No.
Down there, up there.
Here?
Yeah.
Let's try that. No, that's like ours. Oh, darn. This damn noise suppression.
Okay. I wonder it's on our side. Hang on one second. I wonder we can reset the
It's cool to know that there's all these...
I found it. Echo cancellation? No.
Is that on their end?
High fidelity music
It's cool to know that all these modes exist though now.
So the audio preferences in Zoom let you choose original sound for musicians.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Hopefully I already noticed a difference in the sound quality.
I wonder if that's been suppressing.
Maybe.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, now we got it.
Immediately. Oh my gosh.
Can you hear it now?
Yes. The robots in the computer are trying to stifle our Casio fun.
Come on, guys.
Actually, it's back
I think when you were holding it up there, I was hearing it better.
How is it? Can you hear?
It was when you played a sustained note.
Yeah.
We heard it for a bit.
Darn.
We got too excited too fast.
All right, let's try this.
Yeah, see, those are coming through a little better,
But we can't hear the beat.
which is the most fun part.
Darn it.
Yeah, we'll have to maybe not show you the beat, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, that makes me so sad.
We gave it a good college try.
We sure did.
We tried. Because if we make it too loud on here, sometimes it just gets really crackly or something.
Yeah, a little
But
distorted with the speaker.
Yeah. Anyway, we tried, but this one's really fun. We love this one a lot. We brought this around the world. It's one of those around the world kind of instruments.
Yes.
Around the world.
So
Are any of them circuit bent? Make mistakes, asks.
What's that?
Are any of them circuit bent?
We're too scared.
I mean, I'm not really, I don't have any circuit bent stuff as well. Like, I think it's cool to preserve the original condition, as you know, so that's cool. But some people are really into the circuit bending thing. I know
Totally.
Killer B, who was on here
another one of
earlier,
our
does a lot of
friends.
circuit bending, and I totally see, you know, the why someone would appreciate that as well. But I respect the fact that you're keeping them original.
Okay.
We usually add a lot of effects pedals.
That's
kind of
do it after
Yeah.
whatever you call it, or tweaking it a little bit.
the.
But
Yeah, that makes sense.
we got. I don't know if I should. It's just she's unclothed. Is this okay? But
Yeah,
it's like a weird little
Terms of service shutting us down.
It's not. I know. It's like there's no nipples, so it should be okay. It's like you know how this is not even actually Barbie. This is what is it? It's
100 shop Barbie.
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 It's like a fake Barbie.
Oh my goodness. I have to just pause for a quick second to welcome our friend Sarah Sounds Cave, who just gifted 3 subs to friends here in the chat. Thank you so much for coming through, Sarah, and just bombing us with gift subs. It's so awesome.
Thank you.
Sarah, I definitely recommend everyone give Sarah a follow here on Twitch as well. One of the first streamers we ever found who was doing modular with VCV Rack.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Really cool to watch their progression, you know, building the patches on VCV Rack and hanging out on stream. So thanks for being here. Gosh, there's a lot going on in the chat, so I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody's questions while we're geeking out.
For sure.
Highly recommend VCV Rack for anybody who's wanting to get started with modular.
Oh, yeah. There's like a whole...
So, sorry, I kind of missed why we have a doll in the stream. What is this for? Is this related to circuit bending?
Yeah, this is a circuit bent doll. And
okay, cool.
When you move the arms and things, it makes like weird sounds. I don't know if we can connect it so easily right now, but
so
maybe
cool.
We got it at just some weird shop in Koenji, but somebody makes these here. But speaking of circuit bent, also one of the guests, I believe from like 2 episodes ago on BTV, he also does like the circuit bent like cat keyboards, like the toy keyboard.
Yes.
And he did an amazing performance. It's so trippy and cool. So definitely like check it out. Oh, was it OK House Cat? Is that right?
Oh yeah. No, I'm familiar with OK House Cat. Yeah, that's a great account.
Yeah. So he did an amazing performance. So cool. So definitely check it out. But yeah, his Etsy shop is like, I'm always looking at things, but I haven't ordered anything yet. But there's so much cool stuff there. So
absolutely. Yeah, big fan of that.
This is kind of circuit bending. It's
yeah.
Is that a 606?
606 has a power out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got the individual outs.
Yeah.
So it was given to us. We bought it like this. So cool. But it's cool. It's kind of a modified. Yeah. So it's really cool.
Are there any sound modifications on that? Like I know that people make them sound more like 808.
Yeah. No, this one doesn't have. Some people make some tweak the snare sound. Is that
right? Or the bass drum decay. Yeah, but that one doesn't have that. Okay, that's cool though. The individual outs are still really nice.
Yeah,
it's a great drum
love
machine.
It's a great drum machine. Yeah.
The toms and the hats sound really nice on those. Big fan.
Totally. And let's see, I have Omnichord here. I think probably some fans of the Omnichord out there. I've got a few of these, and each one is really different, like because they're probably some people will, recognize like it's like the gorillas, like that Clint Eastwood or something comes from this.
Yes, I saw that
recently.
I
can almost hear it. That dang noise suppression.
Yeah, I don't know. You probably can't hear it because but this is a really, really fun instrument, and it's really cool because it does have MIDI out. It's a bit weird MIDI out, but you can, for instance, like you can connect this to, so it has like a strum plate on it. I'm not sure how well you all will be able to hear this, but you can. You can add like different strum plates. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like
it like breaks through like a robot
I'm
trying to send
at
us
the
a
fact
message.
that
I don't know why it's
the speech is crystal clear. Yet the moment you try to play an instrument, it's like literally, just non-existent there. It's crazy how that works. I'm blown away by that.
Off, on. No, it's on.
Uh,
I think you should try it again. I hear.
It's working. It's working.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So so this you can hear the.
There we go.
Like the Clint Eastwood,
Now we're jamming.
I don't know what word it's in or what key it's in or whatever, but yeah, this is that thing.
Oh, I'm happy. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
This is really fun. I know you can play around with of course it has like different sustain or whatever. So it's like a little strum plate that you can play around with. But it's pretty fun because you can take the MIDI and like attach it to another keyboard, and so you can kind of play, another key. You can use it like as a MIDI controller, right?
That's really sick. Fun. I didn't know that about Omnichords, honestly. That it had a MIDI out.
Only some of them have MIDI out. So the one OM300, OM200M, is that right?
Yes, and 250.
250,
yeah.
which I think we have. Only two of those? Three of those? I don't remember.
We have a 300.
Only three of those?
we have 300 and 200M.
We have, so we have two that have MIDI, and then the other ones are more like just really minimal, but they have really nice harp sounds and things like that. So they kind of got more advanced. And actually this year they're coming out with a new Omnichord, which I don't know if anybody was mentioning that in the chat because I'm not really watching it because
It's crazy. Japanese company Suzuki start manufacturing Omnichord again from this year.
So it's going to be Suzuki. That was going to be my question, is that it's also Suzuki who's reissuing it. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. It's still mysterious, but it's sometime in the fall, and so maybe keep an eye out for it. We have no idea how much it's going to cost or anything like that, but these are really, really fun instruments. Yeah, I definitely recommend if you're one of those lucky people who ever find it in a thrift store, they're still out there sometimes. People be like, I found this for $20. So if you ever find one, buy it. It's a really, really fun instrument, and I really, really love having these ones.
They're so special. I think I saw a photo that you had, that you have a lot of them, right? I was like, is that real?
Yeah, I have like 6. Maybe one of them is a Q chord, so I don't really like the Q chord that much, and this is like maybe you two will relate to this, or some folks will relate to this. I don't like menus where you have to like click on things a bunch of times to get the volume up or down and that kind of thing. Like I love knobs and like things that are really like easy. So I find that like the Omnichords are much more like analog, and so it's a lot easier in a live performance to sort of shift gears and not just be like, all of a sudden like the sound is like, because you're like want to change the note, but then you have to go into that note and then turn down the volume on some other menu, and it's like it's just really annoying. But it's great because it has MIDI capabilities, so that's why a lot of people like Q-Chord, and it definitely can have some capabilities, I think, as a MIDI controller, but for me, I definitely think that Omnichord takes the crown. It's a lot better for me, personally.
I definitely relate to that. I hate menu diving. I would say Gus doesn't mind it, but I think it's more out of... If the thing you want to do has to do that, then you just accept it.
I mean, I own an Octatrack. Like, you know, you can't get more menu divey than that.
But yeah, definitely for playing live, I get really antsy if I can't like access something with a knob.
Totally. I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want all these menus. This is a fun one. Have you guys ever seen one of these before? Like tabla machine.
Oh, cool. It's just getting like more and more obscure as we go. I love it.
I haven't heard or seen of one of those.
So,
tell us more.
Well, we got into Indian music kind of randomly because we were at some music festival called Asagiri Jam, and there's this couple, and they're walking around, and like they had like a speaker, like their own speaker that they were carrying around, and they were this, you know, Western couple or something, and they looked like they were having fun, and we're like, let's go hang out with them. You know, everyone else looked like they were going back to their tents and chilling out. So we hung out with them, and we're drinking with them, and then they're like, let's go join some random people's campfire, and they brought us around, and they were like, just bring it. Like, I was thinking to myself, because in Japan, like, people don't usually do that kind of stuff. And so it's like, you know, I was like, oh, is this okay? You know, like maybe we're being really annoying to these people. But the people were so friendly, and they were like offering us wine and food and everything. I was like, why am I not like this all the time? You know, why am I so reserved? You know, like people really enjoyed that we were being so friendly. And then at one point, I think like we even busted out like our, you know, some keyboard and we're playing. And so it was just like, so anyway, this guy invites us. He's like, you have to come to this house where I'm staying. It's up in the mountains. And this guy does these parties, whatever. And he's like, by the way, the next party is like his wife's funeral, but it's cool, you should still come. And we're like, really? Because this just feels kind of weird, you know. But anyway, so we went, and it's just like this house up in the mountains, and you know, all these Japanese musicians coming, but they're all like, they play, you know, tabla and tambura and like all of these really cool Indian instruments, and we're coming in with our synthesizers just like trying to do experimental pop, and they're like, excuse me, this is a jam session and this is how it goes. And so it was like we had to kind of relearn everything, because it wasn't how I think we often jam, I think, in sort of the experimental music community, which is a lot more like anything goes. It's like a lot more, Indian music's a lot more like, you know, there are certain scales to adhere to, and the tuning is really important, and certain instruments are like tuned first, and there's all this like protocol that we didn't know. But it kind of opened up this whole kind of can of worms for us, you know, of like, oh, this is really cool. And so then we started like kind of getting like a few different instruments kind of like this. So tambura is usually sort of the main droning sound. So we have like one, I don't know if it has batteries, maybe we can show later. Like it's like kind of a droning sound that, you know, normally everybody plays with, and then they play along that scale. So we have a little tiny tambura machine that we can play with, and this is the tabla, which is like a tabla drum.
Definitely sounds like one, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so glad we figured out this sound issue. This is so much better.
And it's like, it's got all kinds of presets that you can play around with. So that happened, you know, a few years back, and then, you know, we've just been, you know, playing, you know, and trying to learn a lot about like, you know, what we can. And then, you know, we've been to India a couple of times since then for a couple of reasons. I got to play a couple gigs there last year in Goa, which was so awesome. And one of our friends lives there, and she's a tabla player and also a, you know, music producer and whatever. So, so yeah, it was really fun. We had a really good time in India, and like we
got a bunch of electronics from India.
We love this kind of stuff. We're always kind of on the hunt when we're there for these kinds of things.
That is so cool. So these are like rhythm boxes with speakers.
So this one is he's gonna, I think, take the batteries out of the other one so you can see. This one is the droning one. So
this one is fucking cool. No.
Yeah, you can say the F word. It's fine.
Yeah,
you can say the F word.
Or if we're not, maybe, I don't know. We'll
It's like a sitar, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like the droning sound. So it's called like a tambura.
You can change the scale.
Yeah, you can change the scale. And so this is kind of what everybody uses as their tuning,
So this sets the tune, and then you tune to it.
Yeah. And so this is just like a tambura player just playing the droning sound over and over again. So these are really cool to play around with.
Tambura is originally Indian instrument that a huge 4-string instrument, doesn't have any fret. So that keep playing the open strings and then making drone for the other. It's really cool.
And you spin, right? Yeah, I think I've seen those before. Very cool.
Whoa.
Anyway, we are not experts, so if anything we say is inaccurate, please, forgive us. But yeah, we're trying to give our best Indian music lesson as learners ourselves.
Appreciate it. Yeah, just from your own experience.
Yeah. This is funny because it's called Suna Damala, which kind of sounds almost like Santa Dharma somehow. Which Santa Dharma also does have like some connection sort of to that. So
I was gonna ask you if you wanted to talk about the meaning behind your name.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really anything so intentional, but it's just been a name that stuck with us for a really long time. Is like, being from California and having a lot of place names that are like San Diego and Santa Cruz and Santa Monica and stuff. We thought it would be kind of funny to like have, some, kind of imaginary place name or something, Santa something. Yeah. And so then we were like, well, what should we make it? Santa what? And then Dharma, I don't know. This one
they're
is
both
so
looking for something. I love it.
Yeah, but もう一つあるじゃない？なんかもっとなんかyeah, we have like so many of these, but this is like a really old faded Hello Kitty one. But basically, there's this tradition in Japan of Dharma, which is based on the body Dharma, which would have been the person who brought Zen, or to Japan, and so the Dharma, this is the Dharma. So you'll see these a lot, like around Japan. There's different colors, there's different forms and things like that. This is kind of like the most common one is red. And it's named after the Dharma. The reason he doesn't have legs is because apparently, the story goes that the body Dharma like sat so long that his legs fell off, sat in meditation so long that his legs fell off. And I
feel like I'm getting into that territory right now.
So I know, right? So anyway, so we thought like, we were like, I just kind of said like Santa Dharma, like I just thought like, I don't know, it just came to me because like I've always been really into yoga. I'm now a yoga teacher, opening up my own yoga studio right now as we speak.
That's so cool.
And so it was like Dharma has always been a concept I found really interesting, but I never knew that this was also a Dharma. So we're like, oh, that's so cool, Santa Dharma, because everybody in Japan knows Dharma. And like Santa is really easy to write in, kana and Japanese, but Santa Dharma is really easy and Dharma is kind of familiar. So we thought it would be kind of this nice kind of intersection of like different things that we were interested in and, sort of this imaginary place. And
that's so cool.
It just kind of came together like that for us. So
it sounds like something that already existed.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's so funny is that like we came up with this name Santa Dharma. We thought we were coming up with this name, quote unquote, but then it's like, there's also this Sanatana Dharma, I think is, if I'm pronouncing correctly, which is kind of like a belief system in India and quote unquote Hinduism, the like way of living life sort of the right way, like ethically, instead of like living just for yourself, like living for the community, living for others and things like that. So I love that there's sort of this layer of that as well, and that for perhaps people in India may have that feeling, I hope, when they hear the name, it's kind of cool. It was accidental, but yeah.
That's amazing.
It's so fun when you find out, some of those synchronicities, about the name later.
For sure, yeah. Are you all tired? I have a couple more keywords if you're interested.
No, we want more. I'm like turning the suppression on and off while we're
Let the good times roll.
I think people were like more synths, more Casios.
That one is cool.
So recently, so I make music by myself sometimes too. So actually, when we did the second bedroom psychedelia too, we thought it would be kind of fun, sort of like theme we were talking about earlier, to just we thought it's like we don't want to always have SYNTH Dharma be, you know, like the headliners or the whatevers at the event, because it just gets kind of boring and stale. And also we don't want people to feel like it always has to be polished and perfect. And we live together. We have a studio together. Like, even though we're really busy, we can always find a way to make something, you know, and to make it work. But we want to encourage people who maybe don't, you know, maybe they just want to have like a cool jam session and they've only jammed together a couple times, but it just sounds really cool or whatever. So last time Tomo teamed up with one of our other friends, Mike, and they did like their own thing, you know, for their set. And then I did a solo set, but then I asked my other friend, Adam, who's also a musician. He has a project called New Normal. So I was like, okay, why don't you play guitar with me on my songs and, you know, add in some stuff. So it was really fun to be able to collaborate with, you know, other people and not just make it, again, that like, okay, this is our event, but, you know, to kind of like spice things up a bit and work with different people. And so anyway, this is what I was using. This was my main keyboard when I was doing kind of my solo set, and so I've been really into this one lately.
Wow.
It's a biggest toy synthesizer.
Yeah.
In a Yamaha 80s.
Yeah.
Called the Porter Sound, the PSS 680.
Yeah.
Has drum pad here.
Drum pad here.
Yeah.
Drum pads in the front. Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And since it's a preset synthesizer, but mostly the sound is similarity of the FM, Yamaha FM.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of poor, I think it's a poor people's FM7.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
really cool. Really unique.
It's pretty cool. And my friend, actually, when I played this at the event, and what I love about it too is it does have MIDI, so it's like you can add, you know, you can sync it with drum machines and loopers and things like that. So I was basically almost using it just as a drum machine because the preset rhythms are really dope, and then just adding in some like 4 on the floor and stuff with it, and you know, doing some fun stuff.
Awesome.
But my friend came up to me at the end. If you're listening, hi Mike, I don't know if you're listening. And he's like, I just was reading about this, and this was like the best home synthesizer in 1987. And I was like, I love that. I'm like, it's like 2023 and I have the best synthesizer of 1987. Like, that is so me. I don't know how to explain, but that is so me.
I totally get it. Bardic in the chat said that was his first synth, the PSS 390, and that he still uses it on stream. So there's a lot of
PSS 390, is that what you said? I love that. I love that too. That's like one of my favorites. And like, I love how it has the little sliders, like so you can play around with the presets, and you can also like layer different presets on top of each other to, you know, like create a sound. And then like, again, it's very like user friendly. It's really good for live performances because you can, you know, just slide the little things around and create some really interesting effects. Yeah, I like it a lot.
And the cool thing of this one has a MIDI, 3 MIDI port here.
Yeah.
Even toy synthesizer, this one has a MIDI port so that you can sync with other modern synthesizer. Yeah.
Does it have MIDI clock? You were saying you can synchronize?
Yes. You also setting MIDI clock and receive and
that's great.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah, built-in FM synth on the 390. The Casio with the orange drum pads. It's very good for inspiration. I think that's why I loved Casios.
We just said before this one, right?
For like, yeah.
Oh yeah, the SK5.
This is also a Casio. This is a Casio.
That's a Casio.
Yes, yes.
Really does not like being on camera. Yes. She was
Camera
like,
shy.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
It's like on my terms, not yours. That's amazing. You have 2 cats, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have Lucy is kind of up there in the loft. This one is really fun too. Like, you know, the CZ101 gets a lot of like,
Oops.
reputation. Panel fell
Panel
off.
fell off.
You know, it happens. This is a CZ230S. Is that right?
Yeah.
So this is like.
It's kind of rare.
Yeah, it's kind of
CZ
rare.
family.
It's falling apart. Well, you know, what can you do? But yeah, I love this one too because it's got like, yeah, it has like a lot of the similar sounds to the CZ101, but it has rhythms, right? Because CZ101 doesn't have rhythms if I'm
Does it have that famous house organ sound?
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does.
I want you guys. Will you sample that for me?
All right.
Sure, yeah,
Sure.
of course.
I also have a CZ101.
Just send me a C and I'll be good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, remind me, but
gosh.
no problem at all.
He's serious.
But yeah, this
I
one
am
I
serious.
love. This is also one of my favorites, and I say that about like a lot
Yeah,
of synthesizers. But
that's good way of using toy synthesizer. We can sample if you want. Yeah, please request us. Please send a request.
Same. I mean, like, you know, we can talk about our instruments too, and happy to sample some stuff for you guys.
yeah, because you all are doing really, really cool stuff too. Have you all heard of this one, the QR10? This one's really fun. It's like it's again very tiny, but it's essentially like one of the earliest groove boxes, right? Like really early.
You can. I don't think there's no was group box in that time.
Yeah. And so I mean it's like battery operated, has an internal speaker, or whatever. You can make you can play chords. You can you can like, you know, make different rhythms. It has MIDI out, it has MIDI in, it has MIDI clock, whatever. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And you can program it as well. This one is really fun. It has like a very, this one I think is like from 1992 or something like that. So it's really kind of got that like 90s feeling and like kind of like some early Bjork vibes at times, you know, because she was using some of these like early Yamaha presets. And
That time Yamaha was making kind of VHS size QI20, QI.
Yeah, something like that.
This is a MIDI sequencer. This one is a kind of toy version of a QI20.
Yeah.
So that is a sound engine the same.
Okay.
It's more easy user interface.
This one is much easier to use. The other one I
And it
kind
has
of
a speaker.
gave up on, to be honest. Like we had it for a while, but it had some issues too because it was kind of old one that we got, and it like I just gave up on it. But this one is really, really user friendly. So if you're like me and you give up easily, this one's really fun.
Those are legendary sequencers, you know, from that era. I'm definitely familiar with some of that stuff.
Yeah. Tomo-chan, you want to show your effect pedal, your sitar pedal, or?
Pedal.
More.
Are we boring you all?
I don't know.
No.
We
This
live
is,
for this.
We had no idea that this was going to be, you know, the stream. And
Yeah,
so
this is super fun.
you have so many instruments that are so fun to talk about. So keep it coming.
Yeah, no, people are screaming for more. Thank you, the future normal, for the follow. Welcome in.
And we're all about the nostalgic.
Yeah, I know. Like everyone's getting like vintage gas.
Yeah.
That is what is so cool about playing a lot of these instruments is that I always have older people come up to me, you know, people who are a little bit older than me, or about my age, but, you know, they'll come up to me and they'll say, I used to have this synthesizer, and they, you know, I'm so nostalgic, and, you know, it brings me back and everything. And so that is kind of a nice aspect of playing some of these things, is I think some people haven't seen them in years or never even thought about them. So brings back some kind of memory or something. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the fact that they are preset synthesizers, you know, there's very distinct sounds that people can hear and connect with, you know, and they're like, what? I know that sound, you know, and it adds to it, I would say. That's really cool.
And how much can you deconstruct something familiar and still like have some semblance of like, you know, it's recognizable. It's really fun.
Yeah. Just run it through a pedal, like you said, you know, then it's totally different sound.
Since friendly pedals.
Yeah.
This one is I love
Speaking of
the
pedals.
Yeah, what do we have here?
I love Electro Harmonics. This one is called the Ravish Style by Electric Harmonics. It's like a kind of making sound all like a style.
Yeah, absolutely. It does really make a guitar sound like, or any instrument sound like a sitar.
Yeah, and stuff.
So I used to review guitar pedals about 10 years ago or so for this publication called Delicious Audio. And I actually reviewed one of those.
I was going to say, I know that pedal.
And had it for a little while, yeah. And so when we would have these pedals briefly, sometimes they would let me keep them, but more often than not, I would have to send them back to the manufacturer.
But we might like jam with them a little.
But we would, there would be like a season where we would maybe like have that appear in our music. And that one specifically, I remember having a really great time with. It's a really fun one because it's like, it's sitar-ish, I would say.
Yeah, it's almost like an effect, but it's
got its
sitar
own
familiar.
unique timbre to it, you know, that sounds really fun.
For sure.
How are you? What are you playing? What are you playing into it with that pedal?
I played a tin can electric ukulele. Made by tin can. Yeah.
Why don't you show your tin can ukulele?
Where's
It's pretty cool.
Tin can ukulele?
Where is it?
Oh, I bet you that sounds amazing through that pedal.
Yeah, I love sort of unique timbres mixed with an effect. You know,
Totally.
Like, maybe that's why those presets, and then just tweaking them a little bit. You know,
we're running them through something like the Ravish sitar.
Yeah, like running a Casio through an effect pedal is so fun. It's endless fun. It's like the simple things. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Wow, that's so cool. I was not prepared for how cool that was.
So, this one is made sort of like by a company in South Africa, is that right?
No, it's an American company, but they're inspired by the South American people make a guitar with.
So it's literally a tin can.
Yeah, it's literally a tin can. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of fake product. It's
kind of fake. Yeah.
Fire eaters hot sauce.
Oh, I see. The can
so
is
it's
a fake
made
can.
for this device almost. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. But I think if you actually go to South Africa, you would find some people making this kind of stuff. I mean, you know, what's that one artist? Is it called Coco? Like, that does like a lot of like similar kinds of things, like a lot of sound experiments, and you know, I mean, that's what's so cool, and you know, about like, let's say a place like maybe, I would say Tanzania versus maybe Los Angeles or something. You know, I know we're getting a lot more DIY, and there's a lot of like lo-fi and things like that, and some people are really into that kind of thing, but the innovation and the creation that you see from junk is just really cool, you know, like, because a lot of people just, they don't want to throw it away, and a lot of times there's no way to throw it away. Like, really, you can only burn things, you know, like we didn't have a trash collection where we live, so you burn it in your backyard. So, you know, whatever's metal, whatever, you keep it, you make it, you know, you have old fabric, you take it to the seamstress and they make it into something new, you know, or you make it into something, a baby clothes or whatever, you know. So it's, I don't know, that reusing and that kind of thing is really cool. So I think that was one reason why Tomo wanted to buy this. It kind of like reminded him a little bit of that, you know, really, you know, not throwing it away. And obviously this is like a manufactured version of that, you know, it's not the real thing, but we're not cool enough to make it ourselves. So yeah, this is like our reasonable substitute for that.
Wow, that's really cool backstory on that. I wouldn't have known where that inspiration was from. So you've traveled a lot. Have you found some of these unique instruments like in your global travels, or is it all like from where you are now?
Ethiopia, Kalaro.
Yeah, we had a toy guitar. Oh, Lucy.
Classic cat moment.
Lucy,
say hello. Just came flying down from
the
sky.
Just a little video bomb.
I love it.
Oh, that's funny.
Nah, that those lights are on her turntables.
I was gonna say she likes the vinyl as well as the synths.
Yeah.
True story. They try to DJ. Like if we have to really supervise and monitor when we're playing vinyls, because they'll try to jump on it. And like we used to leave. We didn't have a lid at first on the turntable, and we'd leave it at night, and we'd wake up in the middle of the night, and we'd be like, what is that sound? And it would be, somehow Lucy figured out how to turn it on, and she was actually like kind of trying to scratch, and we're like, I don't know. They just they're fascinated with them.
Boomer joke alert, like, scratching comes naturally to them, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny.
So I'm sorry, I forgot what we were talking about before Lucy interrupted us. Oh yeah, Kidar. It's broken. We need to have it fixed. So, they're like Kidar is like kind of harp, whatever, but they're usually quite big in Ethiopia, and we tried to get an electric kirar. Yeah. But they're massive. They're really huge. And like, we just kept going down all these rabbit holes and asking all these people, and they would like take us to this shop and that shop and that shop, but like none of them would have what we were looking for. And so we eventually just found this toy one, and we're like, okay, this will be our souvenir, from Ethiopia, but we need to like replace the strings and stuff because it's completely falling apart at this point. But yeah, it's really, really cool little toy. We have some samba from Okinawa. It's like like a percussion. I'm really terrible at playing it.
There's the island called Okinawa in Japan. Mm-hmm. These are Okinawa's instruments. It's called sanshin. It's like normally using the snake skin here. Wow. But this one is a kind of vegan version. It's like a fake snake skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not actually a snake. Yeah, and modern they still make it sometimes with snake. Yeah, but like these ones are cheaper, and obviously if you're into animal rights and things, But
yeah. Yeah, when we travel
having your hand on the snake.
Another country that we're looking for the instruments. We try to our best to find their traditional instruments. And if the instrument has a electric version, it would be better. So that you're always looking for some traditional instrument has a pickup, has an output, so that we can later add the effect pedal or I don't know. Yeah. We can play around with in traditional way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Non-traditional way. Yeah.
Always looking for something that can be augmented with effects. It seems like. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play around with. Last time we were in India, I was looking around to see if I could find any more. So it's kind of like all of these are this Indian company called, what is it, Radal or something like that?
Radel, yeah.
Radel, and like, and so we wanted to see if we could find any more of these, but like we've kind of like, I think we have the whole collection. Like,
oh yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Maxed out.
Our segment on the Indian music, that was all. Found in India. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Some
of it, one of them was brought by somebody from India, a coworker, right? And then two of them I think we found at an auction. And so by the time we got to India, we couldn't really find anything that we didn't already own. That wasn't massive. Somebody did give us a harmonium that we don't play nearly often enough. But
it's really loud.
It's loud, and it's big. Yeah. So but
yeah, that doesn't fit your criteria as much.
No.
That's cool. Do people want to give you stuff a lot? Be like, oh, I saw this and I thought of you guys, or
that happens a lot actually. Or like people will say, oh, I have this instrument that I don't really use anymore, would you like it? Like somebody gave me one of those Chaoscilators years ago, and I love them. Like I love those tiny instruments that you can just bring around, and so it's perfect for me. And he was like, yeah, I never use this, have it. So thank you if you're listening. The people do that. People just say, do you want this? Or do you want to keep this for a while? So this harmonium was like, do you want to borrow this for a couple months? I still have it like 4 years later. So I don't know, maybe it's mine now. I'm not sure. So
yeah, that's a long time.
I think so.
Yeah, I guessed correctly. I had a feeling. I was like, with the very, not just that you have the criteria, but it's all very like visually appealing, it's very like eye-catching type stuff. So I would imagine if someone had something like that, they would think of you immediately to fit that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of, that's kind of what people think of, like, when they think of us is toy instruments and weird stuff like that. And what we showed you is like really not even like, I mean, our studio
just scratching the surface.
you know, we've got a lot of stuff. But I mean, some of it's like not beautiful at all. You know, we showed some of the funner stuff. So we also, like, we don't like to spend actually a lot of money on stuff. So like, you know, we don't have any of the like kind of like fancier top end stuff. So that's kind of why we have the budget to have all of these silly little things. So, you know, it's not like I'm like secretly I have this like, you know, $5,000 synthesizer somewhere. No, like everything I own is like kind of like this. It's kind of like junk kind of stuff. I think my maybe like, you know, like Microkorg or something. That's like the newest thing I have. Like, and even that I got the Microkorg S because it has a speaker, you know, speaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's that that thing you mentioned earlier that people have nostalgia when they see what you're using because it was new maybe for them when they used it, but then they went through that like digital age, right, where everyone got rid of all that stuff and then it all went to like the pawn shops, and then, you know, our sort of age range people found that stuff and
scooped
were like,
it all
oh,
up.
this is so fun, why did anybody ever get rid of this? And then those people who are kind of in the middle are always like, why would you want to use this? You could have 1,000,000 sounds in the computer, and like all that stuff that we like really reject because it's like not as fun. So I totally see that trajectory of like why, you know, there's so it may look like, oh, you guys have so much gear, but it's like it's all in that, you know, it's valuable to you, but not maybe the person who even sold it to you. And
it all solves like a very specific, you know, problem, I guess, you know, in terms of like your sound, you know, like everything is very unique. And, you know, if you know that you want this particular preset on this Casio, you know, like that's the only thing that's going to sound, you know, have that, you know, and so it's important.
It has that analog thing that we love.
To your sound.
Yeah.
Tomo, you were mentioning that you got into modular a little bit. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Want to share your stuff? Bring your case. Dosa. Yeah. He's gathering his stuff. Just a second.
No problem. I think we've got a little break happening for Jacqueline right now too, so everybody shall return soon.
Yeah, no worries.
To be honest, it's not completed yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
we really really just got into building this like a few months ago.
Oh, okay. So. And that's the Nifty case, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
I just brought back from California.
I brought it back from California. It was a very close call because Amazon almost didn't deliver it on time to my house.
Oh wow.
You know, it made it. It made it just in time, like the morning I was leaving or something.
So he's got a Nifty case that that they brought back from California.
Oh, cool.
It barely made it on time from Amazon, but it made it.
Oh, been there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so this is fairly newer.
And that's few enough modules that you could actually name them off for us, I think. What you got there? Start from left to right.
Yeah, what's this?
This one is kind of came with the Nifty case. It's like this company Create Audio's Crips. This one is a kind of what do you call? It's like a 8-bit synth sound. No, it's like a low bit rate synth sound.
Oh, that's cool. So like a lo-fi oscillator.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 oscillator and 1 LFO.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really handy. Yeah.
That's very cool.
And then this one is also coming with the Nifty case. It's called Cells. It's like a kind of, you know, sequencer. It's a
okay.
Yeah, I think the make noise make a more nicer kind of touch.
So it's a touch plate sequencer. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
And next one is a Pamela. It's like clock generator.
Pamela's workout. Yeah.
Pamela's workout. I love this one. Yeah.
That's
the clock
favorite.
maestro. Yeah.
And then I'm kind of running right to modular, so the mutable instruments are already closed down.
Yeah.
When I start by collecting the modular, but I got the 2 modules from the mutable instruments, plate,
Oh, okay.
tides and the plates.
Yeah, tides and plates.
Tides
Yep.
and yeah, those are great
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. So basically, what's it called? Yeah.
The Platts is such a like multifaceted oscillator. I mean, like you can get into like really any timbre you can imagine with that thing. It's so versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Next one is a tip-top audio 808 cowbell.
Nice.
Oh, that's so awesome that you have the cowbell
here.
in there. That's so cool.
Yes. So cool.
With some adjustable parameters there too, it looks like. So even more flexible than if you had the 808.
Yeah.
That's very
And Pico Ring modulator. Wasp filter. People, everybody love wasp filter.
Oh
Sounds
yeah,
like
the
a-
wasp filter. Yeah, that's
Sounds like flaming lips.
nice.
Yeah. I bet you that gets really gritty with the resonance. Yeah.
And IntelliGel micro Bouchier, and it's like a kind of, this one is a vectoral filter. Vectoral filter.
Oh, okay. A little low pass gate.
Nice.
Nice. Gotta have some
Wow.
back rolls.
Very good choices.
Yeah, that's. I
Thank
bet you can
you.
get into some really good stuff with that.
This one is lately come to my house, but I haven't tried to find a space. But
Oh yeah, you're already
It
running into
begins.
the age-old issue here. With
it's like a joystick on
joystick,
it.
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I saw the I love Brian Eno, and then Brian Eno has a small bushy. What's called bushy one? No, he has a small synthesizer, right? Has a joystick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
ABC one.
after I see the Brian Eno playing the joystick synthesizer, I should have a joystick machine synthesizer. So yeah.
that's awesome.
I used to have a synth that had a joystick, and it was really, really enjoyed that.
Looks super fun.
Yeah.
The Korg Delta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one had a
Oh,
joystick.
boy.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was sort of like a one-trick pony, but it was still fun. I
Yeah,
still liked it.
a joystick's a joystick.
Yeah. It was like,
I
and
feel like
I'm
a
doing
lot
the
of
joystick
my-
now.
There's one trick pony, but I still love it. Yeah. For
Wow,
sure.
thank you so much for sharing that. So, how are you finding incorporating that into what you guys already do? Is it its own project that you're playing around with it, or are you playing with it together?
I haven't really played around with it at all, if I'm being honest. But
We made a
he
few songs with that since. Yeah.
he originally, I think, wanted me to get more into it, and I'm like, okay, it sounds cool, but I just like haven't yet. You know, I haven't set aside the time. But we normally every February we do something called like February album writing month. I don't know if anybody's ever does that, but it's like, I mean, we don't take it very seriously in that we don't really ever produce an album from it, but we try our best to write, I think it's like 14 songs. And
Wow.
I usually manage as a combination of songs with him and songs on my own, but we never really manage to do it together because it's a lot making 14 songs in 1 month, writing everything start to finish, recording, posting, you know, writing something interesting about it, posting lyrics, all this kind of thing. It's a lot of work, but it's really good for like getting over those like fears or whatever you want to say, like those obstacles where you're just like, you know, it's never done or it's never finished, and just gets you to be like, okay, I'm just going to post it. It is what it is, you know, that kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
it's really, it's been really good. And so we did a couple of songs during this last February where we kind of like combined some modular and some other stuff. But it was like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit weird. Like we're still trying to figure it out, you know, like where does this fit in, and you know, how do I how do I work with this and everything. But yeah, we're pretty happy with what we came up with. So, I mean, it's just demos, but yeah, it was fun. We haven't incorporated it into a live setting yet, so we'll see.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Okay, New Horizons. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I want to introduce in the live set. modular.
Yeah.
I got this one. This one is like you can exchange the guitar sound to modular and the modular sound to guitar effect pedal.
Oh.
It's a kind of it's really handy.
Like a matrix of
Yes.
CV.
Yeah. You can convert the this knob CV to both modular, and it's a kind of communication between modular and other guitar pedals.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
It's
format jumbler. That's sweet.
Wow. That is so cool. Wow. Okay. That's just like... I think there's a lot of people who that we know that we're connected with that started on guitar, got into guitar pedals and effects, and then that led them to synths and modular. So I feel like that's a really cool thing to share. I think a lot of people are gonna be like really intrigued by that.
Casio ran behind us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, I know it's
Been on
getting
set.
late there, so I don't want to keep pushing. But I did want to make sure that if there's anything, I know we talked about your YouTube show and that people should connect with you on Instagram about maybe, if they want to participate with that or if anyone comes to Japan. But if there's anything, I'll drop your links in here one more time, but if there's anything that you wanted to plug, any new music you have out or anything that you want us to know about, please let us know.
Yeah, sorry for our reactions. We're just like our cat's like playing under the couch and like
Totally
doing all
get
this
it.
like, what is that sound? And it's like, oh, it's the cat under the couch. Okay. No, thank you so much. And I was just looking at my notes to see. I mean, I don't know if anyone in Tokyo is actually tuning in tonight. I haven't really been able to really keep an eye on it. But if anyone is in Tokyo or coming to Tokyo, we have a gig September 2nd at Mogu Mogu, which is in Asagaya, and it's a brand new record shop. Just started a few months ago, but also really small live space and very cool live space. And we're playing with a band called Yasu Cub, which is also really cool, so you can check them out. And it's a Chinese record, indie
it's a
record
kind
shop.
of Beijing's legendary record shop, and
Wow.
then start making a new shop in Tokyo.
That's so
So
cool.
the owner
Oh,
knows all this stuff about indie Chinese music and stuff like that. So it's really cool. It's really cool place to visit, even if you're not there September 2nd. And they have a lot of live events. So it's called Mogu Mogu. And then September 23rd, we have a gig at Nanahari. And that's also a really, really cool live space. And we played there a couple months ago, and we've also seen some other artists play there. He says it feels like a bomb shelter, but it's like it does, but like in the best way. Like
That's amazing.
a cozy bomb shelter,
Yeah.
right? Like cozy, yeah. It's really, really beautiful spot. So yeah, and then we're playing with some other bands that are really cool. And then BTV, September 29th. We may have something on the 8th, but yeah. Anyway, if you're interested, maybe follow our Instagram. We do gigs
Definitely.
every so often. We can help you maybe organize something depending. And yeah, just thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks for inviting us. And we love to check out some of your music too. Some of you have all been interacting, so please send us a message or something on Instagram and say hello and let us know what you're up to so we can check it out.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yes, I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
there were so many people here who are just getting introduced to you so that they can, get to enjoy that experience of, entering your world and getting connected. And I dropped the links again here in the chat, so everybody watching,
Yes.
even on a replay, the links should still show up in the chat, so everyone can still find you there. So thank you so much for doing this. I know it took some coordinating to make us all line up together here, so we really appreciate you taking the time to join us on our crazy stream.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
I hope you all have a beautiful day wherever you're at. We're going to be going to sleep soon. So.
I know. I was like, I need to let them go. I'm like just getting my day started. I'm like just getting my energy, and I'm like, no, they need to go to sleep. So thank you so much. I'm so excited that we're more connected now, and I look forward to getting to chat more and be synth friends.
Yeah. Have a lovely night of sleep.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
So,
we'll see
have a good
around.
one.
Thanks.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, did we do it? We did the thing!
We did
Yay,
the
friends!
thing.
Thank you all so much in the
gosh.
chat for all of the love and the interaction and the support for our new friends. I know especially for people who are new to Twitch, who maybe have some like Twitch anxiety, as we call it. We always want to make sure that the chat is really, you guys are always welcoming and amazing, but we just really appreciate your support for people that we bring on who are sort of overwhelmed by the chat and the commands and the emotes and just the interactivity, because I think especially for people who are used to streaming on YouTube, like they'll tell us a lot that it's like it's not really real-time interaction as much, like people aren't as used to that, so we really appreciate you guys making it like fun and kind of breaking the ice with us for people who might be a little apprehensive about it. So, but man, what a treat. Like, I didn't know we were going to get like a synth museum experience.
Yeah,
so
you
fun.
never know what you're going to get into with these chats.
I love it.
And it went really like Gear Museum.
Yeah, because I was trying not to be like, me too, but my journey from musical theater to Casios is very similar to what Holly was describing, and for a long time I was collecting Casios and it was getting out of control, and I had to I went so deep into the Casios and the groove boxes and everything that I ended up just like abandoning them all together. Because
I remember that era. It was reminding me so much. Like, I couldn't help it. I had to Me Too a couple times.
Me too.
Because it was just so much like our past.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally like being in a time capsule like 10 years ago.
I thought I was going to have a Casio museum at one point, but we moved so much during that era that I ended up having to like find a way to have like a more minimal setup, and we were touring a lot too, and it was just like I only want to have what I'm actually using.
Yeah.
I had like an insane minimalist approach, and now it's like I have 2 or 3 rooms of stuff that I'm like, no, I don't want to get rid of anything now, because I went through that so many times that now I'm like, no, in 3 years I'm gonna wish I still had this. So I'm trying to work on my the balance of like wanting to purge everything all the time and wanting to keep everything, like the dichotomy that
I would say right now the theme of our studio is very much of the sense that we only use what we kind of jam with.
Well, we only use what we have enough channels for.
Right. Everything has its own output and input on the console now, and there's like no superfluous gear, that isn't in use. It isn't in play, so to speak.
As you can tell, we're like still kind of setting things up, and it's like, okay, does this feel right? I don't know yet.
We'll do a tour when we're all done, of course.
We're gonna have to do a tour. If you are in our Vortex membership, our Vortex members are getting like daily updates from us right now in the private Discord. We call it our Captain's Log, where we're kind of giving daily updates of our journey from basically when we emptied this room out completely, and then as we've been getting all the new stuff and like swapping things out, the cabling experience, like how to wire everything, how to get the dry and wet signals and all the different channels working, and making sure it's noiseless, making sure we're still DAW-less, like all that kind of stuff. But being able to record multi-track, that's been our goal. So we're sharing that with everybody in the Vortex right now. They asked for it. They wanted it. I'm not just like bombarding people. They give us their consent. But yeah, it's been really fun to be able to share that journey so far behind the scenes with people who are, in our membership, who are very much encouraging us to keep going, because there were a couple days there where I was like, I think we made all the wrong choices and I want to give up on life and just crawl into a hole. But they really helped us get over the hump, and we're so close now. Honestly, I don't think we would have even done this stream today if we weren't as close as we were to.
How are you feeling about it nowadays?
Things are set up. I feel amazing.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm also just tired. Like, we worked every day for like 9 days straight on the like logic, writing everything out, where everything needs to be positioned, the cable lengths, how everything's gonna be routed, that I literally was like, I'm so burnt out. Like I need like a week to like sit with this now before we even start just like jamming and finding out the flow.
The big highlight is the Mellotron's back.
The Mellotron's back. Yeah, this I put my crystals on it for good vibes. I brought my Mellotron out of that other room. I've told him like maybe 3 or 4 times that I'm gonna sell it, and he would not let me, and I'm really glad because it's back. And I was
like, no way, no how. Like that's like a signature sound of yours.
It is my baby, so that would be weird to sell my baby. But I have some new stuff back there that I'm gonna share more if we do like a so next week is Gus's birthday, so we're gonna be off again. This is a one-off stream. We're not gonna be streaming this weekend either. This is just us being.
Can you believe it? I'm getting younger these days. Like
every birthday
I've
he
stopped
gets
getting
younger.
older, and I'm going backwards.
Isn't
now,
that unbelievable? So, next week we'll be off again as well, and the following week we'll have another synth friend, and then after that we're gonna go to KnobCon. So we're not going to be on like a regular schedule yet until we feel like we're prioritizing what I guess we would call this the recording setup, like making our next set of songs. So again, if you're a Vortex member, we are doing this for you, for us, for you, for all of us, whatever, because we promised that we were going to actually release music and not just record for hours and hours and hours and then feel like it's not good enough.
Right.
That same thing that Holly was talking about is like challenging ourselves to actually finish things.
Very
and so
much.
this whole setup, this whole workflow is all about making it as efficient as possible so that there's not like those roadblocks of like, oh, we have to archive the tape and now we can't edit it the right way we wanted to, and we can't go back and overdub because we did it live, and all of that mess was kind of slowing us down from actually releasing music. So this is all about recording and releasing, and that's going to be all like a members only experience. So that's what the Vortex is, was built for. And we've just been going through this process to get to the place where we were ready for that. Sounds pretty exciting. Don't sell the baby. Yeah, I know that was really hard for me. I think I was just saying it to see how, sometimes you'll say things to see how you feel about it. And I would be like, I should just sell it. I'm not using it. And then I'd be like, I can't do that. So a lot of this was like, we have to bring it back in. Gus looks like a friend of mine back when he was 20. I know every time that we meet someone new and they think Gus is in his 20s, I'm like,
wait, does that mean that I look like I'm 20 or I look like your friend when they were 20?
Very trippy, Bartek. Very trippy. Not sure. Anyway, this was amazing. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so glad we got this to work out. Like I said, that we kind of like snuck this in because obviously coordinating with friends in Tokyo was a little tricky. And we were like, even though we don't feel ready, we have to do this because we don't want to miss this opportunity. So definitely stay connected with them, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff, and reach out to them. Maybe we can get them in the Golden Shrimp Guild.
Yeah, I know. It would be really cool to have some of their music streaming through the guild.
We want them to stream. We want them to be in the guild. We want the guild to go to Japan. All of these things should happen. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned.
Go get him, Boba Fett.
Yeah, go get him, Bardic Fett. Stay tuned in our Discord. That's where we'll be hanging out for now until we're ready to stream again. And if anything does come up, that's where you'll know about it. Or, on the old Instagram. And thanks to Sarah for the gift subs and Bardic for the resub. We really appreciate that. It's been a really fun one, so I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks for tuning in, Obamas.
Thanks for lurking, Obama's Weed Man. I'm so glad we got to do. Honestly, I was like really nervous about doing a super early morning because I'm like, 11:11. I haven't really been waking up in the mornings. I've been sort of more of an afternoon evening person lately. So I was like, I hope I'm awake enough for this. But I also, on the flip side, is that I know a lot of different people can be here because of the time difference that, you know, we usually go in the evening and that's more of a West Coast crowd.
Yeah.
So it's fun to change it up. That's one of my favorite things about Synth Friends is that we do it globally. So it's always at a different time, which can seem hard to keep track of, but it means that we get to do a different like cross section of people get to join in. You don't do house calls yet.
So it has to be their decision to stream.
No coercion. No cult coercion yet.
Maybe I can, you know, put a little birdie.
Let's try to invite them
put a little birdie in their ear.
To do, you know, to get on the stream, to get into Twitch. No pressure, but I think they would be very enjoyed here in this space. And I'm sure you all agree with that.
Absolutely.
I almost forgot how to raid. I was like, what am I supposed to do now? What's supposed to happen?
Oh, yeah. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, for sure.
Oh, my gosh. And during the day, too, I'm like, who's even here? I guess we'll have to, we'll just have to raid Danielle, I guess. Let's see if I can get this going. Woohoo! Thank you all so much. This really was, you know, we just got like that little hit of, you know, reminder of why we love doing this so much.
Little dopamine hit.
I've been missing everybody. I've been like feeling really checked out about streaming and the community because we're so like
tunnel vision on the setup
in this space. So thanks for being here and being awesome and making it fun and not shaming us for taking a break. All right, we're gonna check out Danielle's stream. Looks like she's going strong right now. We'll see you on the other side, and
see you on the other side.
See you in the Discord, and you know, say hello. Bye-bye.
Bye.